things are really heating up in the Democratic primary. It's not, as you know, the on Saturday, the 29th, the leap day of the year 2020, Joe Biden won big in South Carolina. Unfortunately, Quid Pro Joe is back at it, and he's pulling strings now faster than ever. It all started after, late on Saturday night, I think early Sunday morning, when Tom Steyer, the billionaire man with no charisma and the personality of a wet noodle, dropped out. And people from the Biden camp apparently feared, and rightfully so, that his billionaire donor class vote would go to another billionaire donor class, which was Bloomberg. So the Biden campaign has been on crack, pulling all kinds of power moves since then. They managed to get Pete Buttplug, Buttigeg, whatever you say, whatever his fucking name is, to drop out and endorse him. He managed to get Klobuchar to drop out and endorse him. And this has gone on in a period of, from Saturday, keep in mind, the South Carolina primary was Saturday, and Super Tuesday is Tuesday, so it was really a difference there between 3 days. And in a period of this 3 days, they managed to get Buttigeg to drop out and endorse him. They managed to get Klobuchar to drop out and endorse him, which they're making all kinds of messed up deals. He's probably promising Klobuchar, some cabinet position. He's promising butt plug, God knows what. I know he did this isn't the first time I think the Biden campaign did this. I recall they did this several months ago with Kamala Harris. She probably could potentially, I thought she was the worst candidate of them all, but she potentially could have been a front runner if she would have stayed in. But Biden, probably the Biden campaign and the DNC establishment and all the crony insider cocksuckers who probably represent the epitome of what is wrong with Washington. That whole establishment crowd of Biden probably got her to drop out, and I think it was October, November maybe. Anyways, they got her to drop out, and I guarantee they promised her something. My guess is a VP slot. Worst case scenario, they promised her Attorney General. Either way, we should panic, because if that bitch is anywhere near the AG spot, she would weaponize the justice system like you would never believe. You will see Trump donors go to prison for bullshit trumped up crimes. You'd see all political dissidents getting investigated like crazy. They'd be bullying the hell out of people. But my guess is she's gotten a little more in an AG promise. I think he promised her the VP slot, which for him would make sense because she's a woman. She's blackish, I guess. I think she's part Asian too. I don't know. She's a mixture of a few things. So she gets the non-white woman vote, which brings a lot to the Biden campaign. I don't know if she can really court progressives. To be honest, I don't think anyone outside Bernie Sanders or Warren could court progressives. I mean, AOC is too young to run for the office or even be a VP pick. And Warren's, with her little stunt she pulled on Bernie Sanders of saying, pulling out of nowhere, well, he told me that no woman would never become president, which was a total political hit job. Total political stunt. That made her lose a lot, progressives lose a lot of respect for her. Now they view her more in the establishment lens, as well as they should, because she is establishment. If she was an Obama appointee, for God's sakes. But yeah, Biden got Kamala Harris to drop out, and my guess is she's going to be his VP pick. But his campaign managed to pull several other power moves within the past 48 hours, with getting Buttigieg to drop out, getting Klobuchar to drop out. They're getting endorsements all around there, like in Pennsylvania where I live. They got like a bunch of county commissioners, who, by the way, are Democratic delegates at the convention anyway. I think a few of them might actually be super delegates. So these are people that were on Biden's side, on the establishment side, no matter what. They're just party hacks of the DNC, and they're just, because that's who these, people don't realize who these delegates are. The delegates, the super delegates, all of them are like county, like local local, like county elected officials all throughout the country. That's who these delegates are, like local county elected officials all throughout, like county commissioners, or I think maybe even state representatives. And these are the delegates that go to the convention, and these are the people who, for both parties, they're the delegates that go to the convention and vote for the nominee. And of course, Biden, of course, being the establishment cocksucker that he is, has a bunch of delegates on his side. So he's having these delegates come out and endorse him, which is nobody's surprise. So he's getting endorsements left and right. The two people who weren't Bloomberg, who were taking votes away from, to drop out and endorse him. To not just drop out, but to endorse him. That's very big. And at this point, we're left, well, Tulsi has no chance. I look forward to her to drop out after Super Tuesday and endorse Bernie. So, but that leaves us with four real candidates. That's Warren, Biden, Bloomberg, and Bernie. Now, Warren is in Massachusetts, and the last poll I seen had her trailing to Bernie Sanders in her home state. If Warren loses her home state, it's over. She might as well not even be in there. But if Biden and the DNC establishment and the cocksuckers who are propping him up are really pulling the strings, which I think they are, and the Bernie bros are onto this, they might even tell Warren to stay in, because as long as Warren's in there, she takes votes away from Bernie. If she wins or doesn't win her state, she should drop out. But if she doesn't win her state and still stays in, you know for a fact that's a sign that she has taken her directives from the Biden camp and the DNC establishment. So her idea of an anti-establishment progressive, her image of that goes completely out the window at that point. I'm sorry, that's proof that she's an establishment hack. Even George Soros himself in an interview said that he would, if he would definitely support her as the Democratic nominee. So that was his backhanded endorsement of her. So you have at that point, if she doesn't win in her own home state of Massachusetts, then she's good as done. But she could conceivably stay in maybe another till another, I think, was a mini Tuesday, or it comes up in a month. She could stay until there, get a few more delegates, and then maybe drop out. But if she really isn't that viable, she has like 8 delegates. I think she maybe had like 1 or 2 third place finishes at the most so far. So it really leaves the Democrats between Quid Pro Joe, the establishment pick, Bernie, of course, as I said, Warren, who split some of the vote with Bernie, but Bloomberg is the wild card. If Bloomberg wasn't in right now, Quid Pro Joe would be the nominee easily. You notice when Bloomberg jumped in a race, that's when Biden went on a downward spiral. And Bernie went on an upward spiral. Now, I don't think Bernie gained more support as much as Biden lost support, but it's quite clear that Bloomberg is taking votes away from Quid Pro Joe. As long as Bloomberg's in there, he's basically blocking Joe Biden's path to the nomination. He's still in votes that Biden would get. He's still in support Biden would get, and he's definitely still in the delegates Biden will get. So as long as Bloomberg's in there, it's gonna block Quid Pro Joe's path to the nomination. Just as long as Biden's in there, it's gonna block any sort of path that Bloomberg would have to the nomination. I think Warren, same thing with Warren and Sanders, as I just said earlier. I think Warren is pulling about 12% on average. Bernie's like around 28%. I think maybe combined they may make up a little over the third of the party. But the rest of the 2/3, the rest of the 60%, I think you got about 20. Before Klobuchar and Buttigeg jumped out, Biden was around 20 on the RCP average, which is the best way to tell. But I think with them dropping out, he'll probably get upwards of 30% of the party. Bernie isn't going to get any. So you might see Bernie take a dip on the polls, but again, wouldn't be as much as Bernie taking a dive as it was Biden getting an upward trajectory from getting Klobuchar and Buttigieg's votes. But still, Biden's blocking Bloomberg's nomination just as Bloomberg is blocking a potential Biden nomination. So it should be fun. But my prediction is that after Super Tuesday, out of nowhere, Tulsi Gabbard will come out and endorse Bernie Sanders. Warren, if she doesn't win her home state, pay very close attention to that, because if she stays in despite winning her home state, she's definitely working for taking directives from the DNC establishment and thus the Biden camp. But if she does drop out and endorses nobody, she still might be taking directives from the Biden camp. But if she drops out and endorses Bernie, then she's the progressive everyone thought, or she says she is. But I think overall, after Super Tuesday, no matter even if she does win her home state, it's just going to be a three-man race between Biden, Bloomberg, and Bernie. All three men in their late 70s. Gee, but if all three of these men are going to be the Democrat nominee, then I do not want to hear any progressive leftist bitch about too many old white men in fucking Washington, because they themselves are literally electing old white men. Republicans ain't voting in their primaries. Either are libertarians or independents. It's them. And they're elected. They're the ones electing the old white men. So they are not putting their money where their fucking mouths are. So they either need to shut the fuck up about electing people, too many old white men in Washington, or put their money where their mouth is and start electing people who are old white men. Either way, the Democrats are fucking hypocrites.